Real stories with bold creatives.
My today's guest is a creative from Denmark. It's kind of hard to describe him with the one word. He's not just a graphic designer. He's not just a motion designer. He's not just an icon designer. He does a lot of things, which is super cool to me and super interesting. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Alan. I faced exactly that problem. I was at a wedding the other day, and someone asked me, so what do you do? And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, no. I usually just go with graphic designer. I think
okay.
That's been my key into everything that I've made.
Nice. Okay, well, good to know. Good to know now. Yeah. So tell us more about yourself, like kind of a short summary of your biography.
Yeah. My name is Michael, and I am 41 years old, 2 kids, living in Denmark, a wife. I've been working as a creative entrepreneur, I would say, for 25 years now. Started fairly young. As I said, my way into all of this is that I am a graphic designer. Always been attracted to making things on the computer, all the way back from my first Amiga. I've worked in startups. I've worked on my own companies, founded multiple companies. Worked in apps, worked in games, worked in hardware. I've written some books. I have a speaking career where I sometimes are invited to fly around the world and share some stories with people. It's a multi-legged career, you could say, like a multifaceted career. I spend most of my time these days as the studio CEO of a Danish game company called Northplay, which is my baby, my third baby.
Yeah.
We're 10 years old now. We've released a bunch of games, 4 games for the Nintendo Switch, a bunch of PC games, a bunch of mobile games, and right now we're working on sort of the biggest creative project that I've ever been part of, a big strategy game for PC. I juggle multiple things. I still do some freelancing. I run a small one-man agency called Pixel Resort as well, where I do a little freelancing on the side. My weeks look very different. Sometimes I'm very privileged to go and speak at a conference. Sometimes I'm deeply embedded with my team at Northplay, working on video games, and sometimes I just get to do some design or talk to awesome people like you, Alan.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's really interesting. I always love when people do different kinds of things, and it's not just one thing. I mean, I respect everyone, of course, but it's always interesting to talk people who do different things and see how they actually juggle all those things, and especially when they are so different. I mean, creating games and being a graphic designer on one hand and being a CEO are completely different things, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very much so. I've had to learn a lot on the job. Like, I think I've been lucky just to kind of like throw myself at things, and not everything's worked out, of course, but just kind of kept coming back to what I like. What do I think is fun? I think I've built most of my career around that. Like, we can do that already now. The listeners don't have to listen to this for a whole hour. Like my MO, the whole ethos of my whole career is chasing things that I think is fun. And I've just sort of used that as a key to all the many different projects that I've been involved in.
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah, it's like fun. Well, I mean, but it's such a good thing, because if you are choosing what you'll do in your life, why not choose something fun? So I absolutely love that, and it's super cool to me.
Yeah, and I think it's a thing that's easy to parrot and be like, oh yeah, I'm just doing the thing that I think is fun. It's harder to do, and I think most people don't dig one step further down. They'll be like, oh, I just have to, do this work, and then the fun stuff's going to happen soon, right? Or the fun project is just around the corner. And I've found that that's usually not how things work. Like the world has this tendency to like give you more of what you put into it. So if you're not really having fun right now in whatever work that you're doing, chances are you're not going to have fun at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that everything has to be fun in a job. Of course, there's going to be boring parts of any
Yeah,
job.
of course.
But generally, as a guiding rule, every creative is sort of drawn to aspects of their work that they really enjoy doing or would love to get better at. And I think that should be the guiding pillar in most creative careers. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I mean, I've done so many things in my career as well, and from graphic designer, having my own agency, but really at one point, having my own agency wasn't really fun.
Yeah.
I did everything except the design, except the things I loved. And then I just stopped. I moved to Spain, and I said to myself, like, I really need to do more things that make me get up in the morning and say, wow, I'm going to do this. I'm so into it. And yeah, so I definitely love the approach. Absolutely. But how do you juggle so many things? And you're also a father, and that comes into play. And well, knowing some things about European countries and especially Northern Scandinavia, fathers are usually more involved than in some other parts of the world. So how do you juggle all of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's
Okay.
hard. Right? My wife would yell at me. I work a lot. Like I don't want to sugarcoat it, right? I've had a long career of being an entrepreneur and being independent, and so there's definitely weeks where I work 100 hours. It's
Wow.
gotten better over the past years, and I'm getting better at sort of controlling that. I really enjoy what I'm doing. The problem is when you make your like when you turn your hobbies into your work, like you'll always be in work mode to some degree, right? And when you, as most
Absolutely.
people out there know that, and if you own your own company, like there's always work that could be done to improve
Always.
some parts of your business, right? So that stuff is really tricky. But I would say that I think I've found strength in context switching a lot. Because some of the work that I do, I've done some multi-year projects that took very long time to I've written some books, made some books about app icons, for example. Those are huge like creative endeavors. We're working on a video game now. We're in the 4th year of working on our next
Wow.
game. And the studio I have 18 employees now, and so it's a huge undertaking, right? And the way that I kind of get through some of these things is actually to switch up between the different tasks so that I don't burn myself out on one project. So I've actually always flipped it on its head and be like, the reason why I'm actually able to do some of these longer big projects is because I have multiple things that I kind of switch through. So if I get really tired of working on one thing, there's other stuff that I can go and work on. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that answered your question. I mean, I think I still spend a lot of time being a father. Like I love being a dad, and the flexibility that I get from I'm at home right now, for example, right? And my daughter just she got home early from school,
Okay.
and so I just got to spend a little time with her before this call. And so there is some flexibility in my work, the way that I've structured my life, which I think really helps. There's also some stuff where my speaking career, which was again one of the things that I never really planned for. I just kind of kept saying yes, and then I got invited to do more things. In the recent years, I've brought my family on those trips, most of them.
Okay.
So when we, earlier this year, I was in Arizona, in Phoenix, not a place that
Wow.
I necessarily, it was very nice, but it wasn't in the top 10 places of stuff where you go with your family.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I brought them. Because I was there for a conference, and we had a awesome trip driving around Arizona. And Arizona's beautiful. And so yeah, so I think I've tried to merge. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I'm trying to merge more of my family life with what I do. Like it's not like I go to work and then I come home and I don't talk to them. Like they're very involved in my
Okay.
work. Like I use my wife as a sounding board for stuff around the company or whatever. My kids play test my games.
Oh, wow.
So I think in many ways I've tried to merge the things that I love about both of those aspects into
Okay.
one big thing.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. It's probably easier to if they are one thing to actually like devote time to all of them. So yeah, I like that. I have a couple of maybe funny questions about things that people think of Denmark. Maybe they are not
Yeah.
true. You will correct me.
Yeah, let's go.
So the first thing that's actually I didn't know it. I think it's true, but it's quite popular on Instagram where you see like, oh, Danish parents go out and leave their kids in strollers outside on the snow. Is it true or false?
True. We did this.
Okay.
Yes, we do
Okay. I
this.
mean, I see the sense. I see
Yeah.
the and absolutely cool. But I just wanted to
Yeah.
confirm with the real Danish.
Let's get all the myths out, and I can confirm or deny
Yeah, yeah. True,
individual truths. Yeah,
false, play games.
definitely. We put our kids out in strollers in the fresh air all year long. Denmark has, I don't know what image it conjures up in people's mind when you think of Denmark or Scandinavia. Usually for people it's like snow or rain or gray.
Yeah.
Denmark has 4 wonderfully distinct seasons. It gets really warm in the summer. It's an island nation. We have hundreds of islands with so much shoreline. I swim in the ocean all year round, like 'cause I'm a winter bather. Yeah, we're not. I think we're very connected. Like it's the Viking heritage. We're very
Okay.
connected with the ocean and with the outside in many ways. And so kids are, even from they're very small, are like sleeping outside in strollers. It's a very high trust society. There's no one stealing the babies or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And that's never been a problem. Like there's a lot of medical professionals that would say that that's actually strengthening the kid's immune defense system and stuff like that. So
Yes.
you'll be brought up on that in Denmark, and everyone puts their kid out even though it's -5 degrees. There's no bad weather, right? It's just the right clothing, right? So we'll just kind of wrap
Yeah,
them
yeah.
up in proper things. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. You mentioned winter bathing.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about that and about sauna.
Yeah.
Is it really a wellness thing, or is it just a fancy Danish way to torture people?
So I actually I want to sauna, I think, is on the rise in terms of popularity in Denmark. But technically, it's a Finnish thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so some of the other countries would probably wear that more proudly and be like, "This is what we do," right? But yeah, I've always loved sauna, and I think there's a lot of science. You don't have to listen to many Andrew Huberman podcasts to see
Yeah.
that sauna protocol is really healthy for you. And so is winter bathing as well. Like there's a lot of science backing that up now. So anecdotally, because I feel like this podcast is kind of like the human stories behind it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
I've always loved sauna, and every time there was an opportunity to go and get real sweaty, I've been like, yes, I want to do that. There's a winter bathing club that opened. I live like just 10 minutes from the ocean, because most of Danes do, because it's just a bunch of islands. And then they opened up, and me and my brother, who also just moved to this small city that we live in, about an hour's train ride south of Copenhagen. It's like a medieval, old town by the ocean. There's a town square. It's very much like an RPG village kind of thing.
Okay.
You'll say hi to the NPCs, and they'll sell you bread and stuff like. And then so they opened up this winter bathing club, and we signed up for it. We're like, hey, let's try this. Mostly for the sauna, to be honest. Like they
Oh,
got
okay.
this cool sauna overlooking the ocean and the beach. Let's do that. And then, of course, the first day came where we were like, okay, we got in, and we're now in sort of this club. We also have to go in the ocean, and it was like, yeah, I was like, maybe I'll like it. I don't really know. I hadn't really done that before. Like at winter time, of course, we bathed during the summer. And I loved it. It's one of those things like if I can be an ambassador on this podcast for immersing
Okay.
yourself in cold water, I'll do it. It's really hard to describe, but there's just so many for me at least, both physical and emotional benefits to doing that whole ritual of heat exposure and cold exposure. And so I used to suffer from like back pain. All that's gone. I've got a lot on my mind, so
Okay.
there's like but all that stress and anxiety will actually kind of dissipate because you're in survival mode, right? Your body's like, holy shit, what's going on? It's like 1 degree Celsius. And then when you get up, you're super elated. You're like, your body's like rewarding you with dopamine, saying like, "Hey, we survived, awesome!" And it's kind of like you get this little bit of a buzz on. Like it's very hard to describe. Other people who winter bathe know what I'm talking about, but it feels counterintuitive, and all your evolutionary senses will say, "No, don't go in the water."
No.
Even at like I've done it where there was like ice around, right, in the water and stuff.
Okay.
But it is so nice, and you get a different, I think, relationship with temperature too. Like I'm not cold as much, and the weeks where I get to do it a lot, like I feel like I get sick less.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that I think is good. I wouldn't say it's torture. It's just
no.
do it.
It's not torture. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to try it, I guess. I mean, it's kind of impossible here in Spain because it's mostly
You're in
warm
Madrid,
weather.
right?
Even today it's like 21 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So
you'll have to find a cold plunge or something somewhere.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, I'll figure it out. You already answered partially the next question, but I was in Denmark. Unfortunately, it was November. Well, it was this time around. I got married in Denmark, in Copenhagen, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. But the weather was just horrible.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Is it usually like that, or
it is. There's no
4 seasons are better?
The 4 seasons are great. It's just that one of the seasons are much longer than the others.
Okay.
So, I went for a run earlier today and swam in the ocean and went to the sauna and all that stuff. And today we got a little bit of sun. Like, it was really nice. And I think, mostly Denmark I would say from around October until May, sometimes going into April, is like it gets dark very early.
Okay.
And so the amount of sunlight hours is like quite. I mean, it gets worse if you go to Norway and further up. Of course, we're not in the Arctic, but still, it's pretty dark. And then we have a lot of like rain and just gray weather in that period of time. And so a lot of people suffer from, depressions and things like that. And then we have like this whole regimen of things that people do, I think, to deal with this type of like.
Okay.
I mean, people have survived in these parts of the world for thousands of years, of course, right? But I think off the top of my head, here's Michael's survival guide, right, for getting through Scandinavian winters. First of all, if there's any sun outside at all, if you're so lucky that it happens on a day, you need to go outside immediately. I think most people know that, living in Scandinavia. If you're working, leave your work, go outside, go for a walk.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I think, I mean, I try to structure my days around this. I know not everyone can do that, of course, if you work in a factory or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
But I think cling to the sun like it's like your last hope, right? To get that dose of sunshine. I think that's generally a good advice. Then I would say a lot of us kind of take supplements like D vitamin supplements and things like that because we don't get enough sun. And then sleep like to do a lot of like careful, like make sure you get enough sleep, because that can really fuck you up, right? And it's dark all the time, so make sure, of course, get up at the right time and stuff like that. I would also say exercise outside if you can, and winter bathing, I think, is another good example of like do something that connects you to the outside somehow. There's a kayaking club, or some just go running or whatever, right? But a lot, like, all those things are very important to get through it. And I think the last sort of piece of advice for getting through it is that if you can, leave. Like, go on a vacation, shorten it sometimes. For many years, we've kind of like, when you get to around December is fine. It's super cozy. Christmas in Scandinavia.
Yeah, Christmas time and everything.
Of course. But you get into January or February is the worst, right? Where it's not getting any better. It just keeps being dark outside, and another sleet of rain and whatever comes over you. If you can plan a vacation, that would be a good time to do it, just to kind of shorten the months a little bit. That was my guide for survival.
Yeah, we should do like a guidebook, a PDF download book. Yeah.
We should do it.
Yeah. For people who are visiting or living there, that would be.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm not scaring anyone away. Like I've had many opportunities to relocate, and I've always decided to stay in Denmark. I love it here. I think it's one of the great places to raise a family. I was very fortunate to be born in this part of the world. So, and I Copenhagen is an amazing city. I lived there for 15 years. I still have an office there. And it really is as cool as people say it is. It is a food capital of the world. It has some of the best pastry, coffee, eating out, all that stuff, architecture, design. It's very walkable and bikeable city. It's easy. It's manageable in size. So yeah, I think it's great. I think people should come visit. But if you can, try to visit in spring or summer. Like it's Copenhagen summers are very, very nice. So June, August, June, July, August, even September can actually be pretty cool.
Okay, but not November like I did, I guess.
No, November. No, then you're in dark territory in November, I would say.
Yeah, it was raining.
It has its own charm. I mean, there's a lot of like leaves on the ground, and it's
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago, 11. It was raining all the time. Yeah. Like 4 or 5 days, I think, and it was raining constantly, but it wasn't like regular rain. It was like kind of mists. It's just in the air. Yeah.
We get a lot of
that. Okay. Yeah. Well, and also one thing, everything is closed after 7, 8, right?
I think Copenhagen is improving in that aspect. But yeah, generally, like you're not really expected to go out for dinner late. Like that's more of a, I think,
that's
Southern
Europe
thing.
Kind of
that's
our
Spanish thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, good to know. I mean, I was surprised when I was there, and me and my husband were trying to find a place to have a dinner at around 9 o'clock in the evening. And everything was closed. So that was. But the pastries and everything is really, really cool, and the city is beautiful. So I love that part. Now, what would your kids say if we would ask them now? Like, what does your dad do? What would they say?
That's such a good question, because actually the other day, my 6-year-old daughter had to give a presentation of what her parents did in school. So I had to kind of help her, and we of course had to like write a little note for the teacher to help them if they didn't remember, right?
Yeah.
But she remembered. She was like, my dad makes video games.
Oh, okay. So you're the cool dad, okay?
Yeah. It's a very forgiving job to have in that age. Also because we've made children's games, right? So we've done some work, client work for DR, which is sort of like the Danish version of BBC, I would say. Like it's a national broadcasting corporation, and so they have we have very, like, I think Denmark has very strong children's television, and and entertainment products for kids generally. And so we've done games that most kids in Denmark play. And so my kid can,
Wow.
of course, just sit and name drop and say like, "Oh, my dad worked on this game and this game." And even my
Wow.
first kid kind of voiced some of the games. So yeah, he worked on those games. So it was pretty cool. That's fun. Yeah. So that they would say I make video games, and
You
sometimes
make
they would say
video.
I draw stuff. Like I guess like
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. No, but that's super cool. I mean, I'm trying to imagine myself in that situation and like going, "Oh, my dad did this, and that." Oh,
But Alan, you're
that's
a type designer, right?
yes. I work as a type designer, but I studied civil engineering, which is
Right.
completely yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I studied civil engineering, but I dropped out of university at the end. Because I actually figured it's just not the thing I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It was not really creative. You know, people sometimes think it's kind of you do these fancy buildings. No, that's what architects do. Civil engineering, they just do like math and the problem solving of
Yeah.
those fancy buildings. So I really figured out that it's not for me, and I almost finished it, which is the worst thing. But I didn't want to waste my time on that anymore, and I started my own agency without any previous experience in design or anything.
Nice.
I had 15 employees at one point, which was really good, but really stressful as
Yeah,
well.
you know the stress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you do everything except the work that you actually
Yeah.
want to do. So yeah, and then I was just talking. I had another session to record before this, and I was talking to creative from the UK, and I told her like, man, I felt like at that point I did the job that I didn't want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And soon after that, a couple of years later, I moved to Spain and I started working as a solo type designer. And I loved it
Yeah.
ever since. And I do that. I started the podcast as well, but my main job is type design. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a good example of like chasing the fun, I guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I started designing because I liked it. I started with a design for a friend's website, and
Yeah.
it was in Flash. And yeah, back in the days when we
Yeah.
were playing with Flash.
Yeah. The good old
Um,
days.
yeah, old days. And then, you know, I started designing brands for different companies and logos and everything. And I really liked it. But as we were growing, I was doing more like marketing,
Mm.
paperwork, accounting, and everything that you really don't like to do. I mean, who likes to do accounting, you know? I'm
Accountants,
well,
they
I
like
mean,
it.
there are people, I
Yeah.
guess, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I see myself as a creative, and counting the numbers isn't really
Yeah.
on the top of the list of the things I would like to do. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So yeah, and then I slowly shut down the agency, and luckily all the people that were there, they learned so much and they continued working either for themselves or for other agencies. So that was really cool. And I decided to do type design. Like,
Mm.
okay, what do I like the most, and where I don't have to have clients, because it's similar to games that you do. I mean, you have clients, but they either like your game or they don't. You know, you
Hmm.
don't have to fulfill their wishes unless you are just doing games for a client.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that part because I'm quite free. You know, I can, as you said, organize my life. I can, well, I don't have kids, but in your case, you can go and pick up your kid whenever you
Yeah.
want. You can go out when the sun is out and
Yeah, exactly.
have some good time. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do that as well, and I like this.
That's
So
good.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I know it's not common, not everyone can do it, but
It's
if you
about chasing that
can.
happiness. I feel like when people are listening in or watching this, like that's what I wanted. That's the gospel that I'm trying to spread, and it's part of the DNA of everything that I do, and the talks that I give at conferences is I might talk about specific projects that I made or challenges in the creative work and whatever, but underlying all of it is sort of this relentless pursuit of not settling for something else than what would make me happy to work on. We have so
Absolutely.
limited time, and we just kind of you need to make sure that you spend that time on stuff that you care about. For me, that was like icons and video games, and that sort of stuff. But for everyone else, it could be something else, right? For you, it was type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It can be anything. I have tomorrow. I'm recording another session with Matt Voice. You heard about him
yeah,
probably.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And he does just like, I mean, I don't want to sound like he does nothing, but
Yeah.
he does these amazing type animations, and that's his niche, and he's super happy about it. So, I mean, if people can design their life
Yeah.
around the things they love, that's the best thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot explain to anyone like the freedom that you actually get from that. I mean, tomorrow in the middle of the day, I'm going to play tennis. With my
Yeah.
husband. We have a tennis court like 3 minutes from our house, and that's the life you want to build, to have the freedom, but also to have enough income to actually sustain that life and have a good thing. So that's
Yeah.
one of the things that actually attracted me to you and to talk to you, because that's that fun in the work and designing your own life is the thing that really is one of the most important things for me as well. So
Yeah. I also think it's self-reinforcing. I think that's also one of my points, is that once you do something, you put it into the world's going to find a way to give you more of that thing, whatever it is, right?
yes,
And so if you're a creator that wants to make, graphic design or whatever, and you're like, how do I get clients? Like, that's not how that works. Like, you should start doing something, you put it into the world, and people will find you, and you get to do more of that type of work.
absolutely.
And I think sometimes that that whole like mechanism is so simple that it's easy to overlook, because we keep also being in the other circle, which is like we do something we think is boring, and the world will be like, oh, you like boring? Here's some more boring shit for you,
Here's
right?
more. Yeah.
Yeah, here's more of that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it trickles down to so many ways of how we structure our work lives, and yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. What also amazed me about your work is the love for the icons, which
Yes.
is, it's quite a small niche if you look at it. I mean, considering all the other things that you do, it's quite varied, but designing icons and publishing books and icons, it's quite a small niche. What
Mm.
attracts you to icons so much?
Hmm. It's fun that you're a type designer, because I think there are a lot of similarities between the two disciplines. Like you have like this system that you have to adhere to, and you have to kind of
Yes.
design in a limited, restricted canvas. Um, so I got my start with icon design way before. Again, back to the theme of this conversation. Like, before I knew that this was even a career, I was
Yeah.
with some of my first computers. I was doing interface design, like just modding my computer. You guys remember? You remember Winamp back in the day? I made
Yes.
Winamp
Yeah.
skins. And I
Oh,
would
yes.
make
Yes.
icon sets for my first Mac that I got, and be like, change all the icons in the dock, and I'd make some of these sets available online for people to download. There was not a great demand for this type of graphic design, I think, at the time, early 2000s. I just found it so much fun, because icon design sits at the intersection between art and utility. You have this little restricted canvas. You have to make it's a branding exercise in many ways, but it is in a constrained canvas, and it needs to fit into some ecosystem. So icon design, of course, is an old tradition. If you really take the long glasses on, all the way back to ancient Egypt. But in modern software, they've helped make abstract concepts more understandable for people. And then in even more modern times, they've worked as these little branding elements for applications, for example. And I think when I got into it was before the smartphone sort of became a thing. And so I was just kind of spending like late nights in my Copenhagen apartment making icon, modifications and UI customization together with a small group of other people online. And then the iPhone launched, and it was kind of like a seismic shift, I think, in UI design in many ways, the advent of touch interfaces, because whereas icons have always played a role, they now played a very central role, right? At the rise of apps was also the rise of the app icon. And I, along with a few other people, were like uniquely positioned to make this type of work. Today we'll call it like skeuomorphic graphic design. I don't care much for that concept or that word, but generally, like, we had thousands and thousands of hours in Photoshop trying to mimic materials and lighting and things like that, and creating these little scalable branding elements. And so that's why I loved it so much, and I loved it before it became a job. But suddenly there was this huge demand globally for this. And I think me and that little group of people would go on to become quite influential in graphic design, because we were filling in this need for icon design. And even branding and a lot of like other graphic design kind of followed suit in the years after. You'll see logos becoming more and more square in their formats and whatnot, simply because app icons was a dominating factor. So while it's certainly a niche in that not that many people make app icons or do it full time like I did, they're used by billions of people around the world. They're in our pockets, in our phones. We organize our home screens. When a big app changed their app icons, that you'd have online conversations about it. Like it's really what makes software relatable these days. It's like when you think of an app, you think of the app icon, right? And so I loved that intersection between art and utility. I think as a graphic designer, it's such a fun playground, because you have this limited constrained canvas and you need to tell a story. It's a branding element. You have to make something that's aesthetically pleasing but still fits in within the system. So I think it has like all those elements of good graphic design, elements that you use in type design or web design also, right? You also talk about legibility and uniqueness and all these things. You do the same with app icons. And so I always, we're always drawn to that. I still freelance on app icons, simply because it's such a nice and uncomplicated piece of graphic design in many ways. And I'm really good at it. So I really like it. I've made thousands of app icons for big and small companies through the last like 15, 20 years, for applications for desktop or for mobile, or, and it's spun out into branding as well, and like logo work and all that. Okay. And then I wrote 2 books on it. Because someone had to. And because I felt like it was we have all these logo books, beautiful logo books. There's type books too, with beautiful type in them. And I was like, why has no one made an app icon book, right? Because I feel like the same care and attention goes into these things. And so I kind of just started the website one evening. Be like, I'm making a book. Okay. And it took me 4 years to make the first book. Mostly because I didn't just wanted to have my own work in there. Like, I wanted to feature other people's work as well. And what I also discovered was that while I probably started the project because I just love app icons and I wanted to make a nice coffee table book about it, it also kind of turned into like this preservation kind of thing. A lot of the app icons were actually disappearing. Many of the icons that we remember from the early app stores are not around anymore. And so it became this archaeological hunt to dig out old files and get everyone to sign license agreements for it. So the first book took 4 years, the iOS app icon book. And the second book took almost 2 years. That's this book. I have it right here for those that are viewing this one. So it was like full of beautiful art from artists around the world, process breakdowns, interviews. It's a really nice time capsule in many ways for the art made for our devices.
And if I'm not wrong, you self-published both of these?
Yes, I self-published both of these. I've done a few Kickstarters in my career for hardware and for other things, so I wasn't going in totally blind, but I wasn't 100% prepared either for how long this would take and how hard it was. Which I think is another good piece of advice for people. Is that I think like this one trick that I keep using in my career is like it served me so well. It's like this secret trick that I don't know if everyone's like totally down with.
Okay.
Self delusion. Just kind of just imagine that you can do it. It might not be true. They just kind of like suspend disbelief for a moment. Whatever it is that you are thinking about out there, like you want to make a project or become independent or whatever, it can be super scary. And if you think through all the steps, you might not do it because most things are hard. Most things worthwhile takes a long time. But if you can just kind of like imagine that you can for a very short amount of time and just kind of focus on the first few steps and then trust the process, then I've found that that's a way more easier path to success. So like just kind of kid yourself in a way.
Okay.
Lie to yourself is what I'm saying.
Okay. And if you knew that it will take you 6 years for 2 books, would you still do it?
Probably
Amazing.
not, right? I mean, and all the hurdles of self-publishing, and like it's been a ride, and I've gotten a lot of help from a lot of amazing people as well. Like, but it's I mean, compared to margins on self-publishing is absolutely horrendous. Don't do this as a financial sort of incentive. But I'm so happy I did it because now we have like it was very successful on both Kickstarters was successful. I got worried before launching the Kickstarter, of course, as you do. You work on something for 4 years. You're like, am I crazy? Does people really care about a book about app icons? But the project was funded in like less than an hour, and went on to raise like so much more than what I imagined it would. So there are thousands of books out there in the world now in creative homes and studios around the world, and with my words and a lot of the art that I cherish. And I think that's really awesome. But had I known all that stuff up front, I'm not sure I would have made the same decisions. So yeah, that just goes to show like just kind of do a little bit of like self delusion. I think is healthy for everyone.
Yeah. But I'm sure that you are not like sorry that you did it.
No, of course, no, not at all. No. I'm not sorry that I did it. I think it was totally the right thing, and I'm super proud of the result. And we still, like, if people listening to this be like, what is this book? Like, we still have some books left. I don't really plan right now on doing more. I'm saying that.
Okay. But can people still buy them? Or
yeah, they can. Yeah, we still have some stock left of both books.
Okay.
It is dwindling, particularly the first book. But it's just on my like web shop, Flarup.shop. It's like fully automated, and it's sent from a warehouse here in Denmark. But yeah, they're beautiful books, both of them, and there was like no expense spared. We had them printed in a very nice print shop in Denmark that does like artisanal books.
Okay.
So it's like it's a heavyweight silk coated paper. Like it has this diffraction holographic cover. It's textile bound. Like it is a through and through a very nice art book. Spent so long like dialing in colors with the print shop and things like that, because obviously a lot of this was made for art, like art RGB. Like this is a print design book, like for screens, printed on physical paper. So there was a lot of interesting things I had to learn about converting color spaces and trying to most faithfully reproduce various colors on this particular stock of paper and all that stuff. But yeah. Okay. I could geek out over printing for hours. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make sure to link up the shop in the podcast description once it's live. So yeah, I love that. And how did it feel to actually, when you first had the books in your hands, how did it feel?
It was crazy. It was unreal, because you spend so long imagining something, and then finally seeing like the final result. And this actually goes for most of the projects that I've been involved in. Like I'm kind of like it feels so weird being at the end of a creative process, a long one too, seeing what you made, seeing it all come together, because in many like parts of that journey, and I think many creatives can probably relate, it feels like it's not going to happen. Like it's so hard, there's so many obstacles, the road is long. Like, will it ever become a thing, whatever the thing is that you're working on? And then finally, like seeing that morning dawn and being like, okay, here it is, here's the physical book. It was pretty crazy. I feel the same way about the games that we make too. Like there's just hugely complicated pieces of software that has to come together, and I'm amazed every time that it does.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. I mean, it's so many different things. That's what creativity looks like for me. You know, it's books, games, apps, graphic design, icons. It's really cool. Did you ever do like branding, like graphic design in that part, like logos and everything?
Yeah, done lots of logos too.
Okay.
I love that discipline too. Like I've always I've always had probably more freelance work that I could take on, and so I've gravitated towards making more icons than logos. But yeah, no, I make logos for everything, like for for all of our own games, all our own projects. I've sort of become more embedded in sort of the uh, organizational and political side of video games in Denmark. So I'm on the board of the branch organization Games Denmark. And
Wow.
I've made their logo, of course. I make logos for, initiatives, various initiatives. Next weekend, I'm speaking at a game jam for kids, and I'm also, my own kid is attending, so I'm volunteering to sort of help out with the game jam. And I'm just kind of like trying to like help, like intersect, like do all this, like as every time my graphic design skills can be used for something, I'll apply them to some degree.
Okay.
So yeah, I've made lots of logos for all these various initiatives.
Okay, that's really cool. And if I'm, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the school you were not like in your you didn't fit too well, if I'm
Yeah,
correct, right?
that's
Tell me
definitely.
more about it.
Let's talk about school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, hmm. So I think I went through gymnasium,
Okay. Same
which
here.
is high school for American listeners, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be a designer, because I was doing like early web design. I did lots of like programming as well, like early HTML, CSS kind of
Yeah.
thing. Early, like right around the millennium, early web stuff. And had a pirated copy of Photoshop, of course, like everyone else did, and did lots of questionable digital art and
Yeah,
all that stuff. Had a deviant art profile with like trans covers and
yeah.
psychedelic
Yeah.
art, and we've all been there. It's a phase.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And so I was like, I'm gonna be a designer. And then I went to design school. Actually, tried to apply to a few different design schools. I got into a design school that had more of a like furniture and textile sort of heritage, which is very normal in Denmark. We have a lot. We have like, I think Danish design has historically been all about furniture. We have a lot of like very famous designers in Denmark that produce some wonderful, beautiful furniture. But I had my hair was growing out. I was like a young teen punk, and I want to make shit for the internet. And then I got to the school, and it was mostly women there wanting to do furniture design. And the teachers there too were mostly women, and they didn't like me much, I think, to be honest. I was just this young punk, right? And I wanted to make things in Photoshop for the internet. And so I did finish the education. It was like a 2-year design education. I hated it. It was not great. And they did everything they could to sabotage. They gave me the hardest projects. They gave me the worst grades. which was interesting because many years after, they've asked me back to give talks at the school, and unfortunately, I told them that I was sick that day. That I can't make that.
Look at me now.
Yeah, look at me now. I've had a few of those moments in my career. But then I went to study, computer science at university, something completely different. Like screw design. Design to me, it felt super it felt like elitist and arrogant. And I think that was very much also what happened in design at that time, and the school definitely didn't help it. So I fled into academia and wanted to study computer science. I wanted to study geography. Like I was in Thailand and during the Boxing Day tsunami, so that sort of left a huge impact on young Michael. And so I went there and just loved being at university. We have like 5 big universities in Denmark, and I was at one of them, and it was great. Met a lot of different other people from other disciplines, academic disciplines, and at one point I became chairman of the fraternity bar. Like there was like a bar. We're in the weeds now. But I'm driving at a point, trust me. And so the thing is, we had a lot of parties and things as you do at university, and someone had to make flyers for these parties. And I liked design, so I made some flyers, and someone had to make some, like there was some book print design things, and I was like, I can do that. There was some website design things. I was like, I can do that. And slowly, like one project at a time, I kind of got pulled back into falling in love with design. This was like at the advent of social media, like the early days, right? And so I was like, I think I'll give this another shot while I study computer science. And then I made a portfolio, like Pixel Resort, the first version of my one-man studio. That website went live while I was at university. I remember buying the domain in class and like kind of like hand coding it and putting it up. And I think that was kind of where people started contacting me for freelance work. So this is mid 2000s probably is where I start doing more. I'd done some freelance work like for friends and family and acquaintances before that, but never in a structured way. And so now I was kind of faced with this fact that there's actually a pretty rich like freelance career here, but I was also going to university. And so I took my bachelor's degree. I found out I wasn't a very good programmer. So I was a horrible programmer, actually. Luckily, my visual skills were pretty good. But I did go and apply for a master's degree at the IT University of Copenhagen, which is sort of the next tier up. And I think we were like 5 guys applying. And, we all went in and handed in our applications at the same time. And like, this is going to be awesome. I was the only one who didn't get in.
Oh, come on.
So it was a little bit of a sucker punch for my academic career. Again, the IT University of Copenhagen have asked me to come back and give talks later in my career, which I've said yes to do. And the first slide I showed them was my rejection letter slide.
Okay.
So that was pretty fun. I think I've had a tricky situation. That's a roundabout way of answering a question, but I have had a tricky trip through this school system in many ways. There are parts of it that I really enjoyed. I have a wonderful, diverse group of friends from all sorts of walks of life and disciplines today, because I went to a university that mixed up people. So I have biology professors in my friendship group that will tell me exactly what frog that is when we're out on a trip, right? But also have PhD people with in PhDs in physics and things like that. So it's sort of like, I've been happy for the connections that I made during school, but I didn't really love how much time I spent not working on things that were directly useful for the career that I would eventually go and get. That's the time when I parted ways with the school system. Went to do freelance full time, and I spent a few years working for an agency. Kind of did that. That was, I feel like that's kind of like being drafted for the army for most graphic designers. Yeah. You have to go and do the job. True. You have to do all the different design for everyone. And it teaches you a lot, and it kind of sucks. And then after that, I started my own companies and worked on a product development studio called RoboCat for a bunch of years that I co-founded. And then I founded Northplay, which is my game studio. And
Yeah,
here we are.
that's quite a road.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned young Michael. Is there something that if you could, is there something you would say now to the young Michael to do differently, or some advice?
Yeah. I think there's a bunch of things. I could fill probably a whole book full of things that you
Okay.
would say to young Michael.
Maybe
But
you should.
yeah, maybe I should. Yeah, I think one of the key takeaways is that I've been, like, as you can probably hear from me telling my story, is that I've done a lot of things. Like, I've been a very hungry man at the creative buffet table,
Yeah.
right? And I think one of the things is that just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to do something. Like, I think that's a good takeaway.
That's a good one.
I've often kind of just chased a lot of like things that I thought in the moment would be fun to do without maybe thinking it 2 or 3 steps further down the line. I think I've gotten better at this. And so the chasing fun part, I think, mostly gets you to a nice place if you really think through the whole process. And I think that took me a long time to figure out, because there were so many opportunities and I still think there are today, for creatives to start your own company or chase freelance or join a startup, or like a million different products you could work on. You know, is it hardware, software, is it games, is it whatever? And you know, kind of this true understanding of seeing how it all connects in hindsight, I think is hard to have when you're young and you're just kind of like opening doors. One door will lead to 3 other doors, and you kind of it's good to have some level of like some direction. I think that's something I would tell younger Michael. I also think I've worried a lot over things that didn't happen or needed to happen. I think that's we should all try to worry less. I think I've learned to trust the process more. That self-delusion that I talked about earlier really helped, like serves me well sometimes. Like, I think, and also like just kind of shooting for the stars in many ways. If your expectations are at a certain level, then you're kind of setting yourself up to never really exceeding those expectations. So it's probably better to set your expectations for whatever you're doing really high, and then maybe you won't reach that level, but you would reach much higher than if you had set your expectations low, if that kind of makes sense.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. So I think that there's a bunch of these sort of little takeaways. I actually wrote, now that I think about it, when I turned 40, I wrote like 40 things I learned being a creative entrepreneur. And one day I might turn that into an actual book, but for now it was a newsletter I wrote, so it's also a blog post somewhere on my Flarup.email. I write a blog post, or I write a newsletter that some people follow on some of these learnings and things.
Yeah.
Thought leadering.
That's I mean, send me the link for that. I want to read
I'll
it.
do that. I'll send you the link after. It's
yeah, please.
Yeah, there's a lot of little nuggets like that.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that. So I don't want to take, this time has passed so fast. I don't want to take a lot of your time. I know you have millions of things to do as
we're making a video game here.
yeah. But tell us for the end, like a fun fact about you that not many people know.
Fun fact about me that not many people know. I thought I was going to be a musician and a DJ when I was younger. And I don't think a lot of people know that. I was really into like I think I've always been very extrovert and socially, like I was kind of in my younger days, I was like at a party every weekend, right? And so I really loved this idea of giving people an experience. And I think for me, like that was like expressed very early through music. I never pursued a career in music.
Okay, but
But
did you play something
yeah,
or
I made a lot of electronic music back in the day.
amazing?
And then I just kind of curated a lot of music, listened to a lot of music, and I played DJ'd a bunch of parties and things like that. I think it's like one of the red threads that I see now in hindsight, as an old man, is that
Yeah.
is that I've always wanted to tell stories or give people experiences. And I tried to do it through software when we made apps, and I tried to do it through graphic design when I make icons, like little embedded meanings and things, little winks to the viewer through the graphic design that I make. And I've tried to do it through now through video games, which is kind of an expression of the same thing. You want to create a world that people can enjoy. You want to tell a story. Same with music. Like I think they're all just kind of me attempting to like give that experience to someone else. Things that I enjoyed myself growing up, like same with video games. Trying to add a little bit to that cultural heritage. I think I've been preoccupied with that for a long time without really realizing it, and it expresses itself through books that I've made. The books that are made are little time capsules of trying to hand people like my love for icons to other people and be like, look at this beautiful world, right? And the same with the video games that we make. So yeah,
that's really amazing. I mean, thank you so much for sharing all of this with me, and please send me those links. I want to read
sure.
out.
How well. We didn't even talk about video games, by the way, which I mean, it's totally fair.
I mean, no, we should definitely repeat the chat.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it completely. I know you are really busy. But when you are close to finishing that game, we should sit again maybe and do another chat. I would love to. I do play some games, but I usually don't have that much time. I'm usually stuck on Mario Kart on a TV and Nintendo, which is
still
maybe
good.
Basic,
That's still good. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
kind
interesting
and you just.
I think people would be surprised by how many similarities there are in the creative fields, also in video games. Like it's just really complex pieces of software, and I think as a graphic designer, like it's been fascinating to be in that world for a long time. And I love that medium. I think it's the medium of the future. It's everything that we love about movies and stories and music, just made interactive. More people should play video games, I think, and more creative.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Try it. If I'll meet a lot of grown-ups who are like, oh yeah, I used to enjoy video games with a wistful sort of view.
Yeah.
I had a PlayStation 2. I was like, try picking up again. Like there's so many cool experiences. It's not all just Fortnite and Roblox out there, right? There so many wonderful like experiences in PC indie game or even on console. So yeah, that's if there's any takeaway, we can do a follow-up conversation at some point about video games, because that is, to be honest, what I do most of my time these days. And if people want to follow like the game that we're making right now, it's called Dino Lords. And it's a real-time strategy game.
From your t-shirt.
I have a t-shirt on. I made sure it's product placement on your podcast. But if people have Steam accounts, they can go and wishlist it, and they can learn more about it on dinolords.com. It's basically a medieval strategy game. It's a very historical, accurate game where the Danes invade England with dinosaurs. Just as you remembered it in history class.
Yeah. So we learned that. I don't think that British people will like that too much, but
they love it. Everyone loves dinosaurs. But it's kind of like a mashup of Age of Empires and Diablo, if you'd like, in terms of control, like an action RPG and a real-time strategy game. So it has a very nostalgic packaging, like many of the things that I do. But I work with it. I work with some amazing people on it, and it's going to be hopefully the biggest thing that I've ever done.
Okay, and do you have like a planned time to release it, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. And that answer keeps changing a little bit because it's a big moving project. Right now, we're hoping to go into what's called early access, which is you can buy the game and you can play a version of it, and then we will finish it. But early access sometime in the last half of next year. That's the current plan.
Okay.
But we have regular playtests. We have a Discord community. Like we people can go right now on Steam and sign up for a playtest, and they might be selected to play the game way before then. So it's a very dynamic process to make games like that. But yeah,
I'm gonna sign up. So
sign up. Wish
tell
list
your
it on
guys
Steam and
to
sign up.
list me sooner. Yeah.
Cool.
Push me up on the list. Yeah.
Yes, I will. That's fine. You can just email me. I'll find a key for you, and you can try it out. See if I can get you back into gaming again.
Yeah, I mean, a bit more advanced than Mario Kart, I think.
Yeah, some of it is. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. As I said, there are games for every type of gamer, and that's usually my message as well. Like, there's so many wonderful experiences out there. You're cheating yourself from some of the greatest like cultural experiences of our age right now. It's not just all the big FIFAs and Battlefields of the world.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. So yeah, definitely recommend everyone listening to this to go play some more video games. Make time for it. It is okay to be an adult and enjoy things.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that people in Spain do all the time. They play so many games. They play board games as well.
Yeah.
Like obsessed. And it was really a kind of a cultural shock for me because I come from Bosnia, where it's kind of you play games until you are 12.
Yeah.
And then if you play games later, then you're kind of a weird.
Yeah, it's like a stigma.
Yeah. But that was a shock here in Spain when I moved here. And it was like everyone was playing games, having the new version of every console, everything. Yeah. And it was really cool to see like older people, look, I can go back, and play things. And so I definitely agree with that. Yeah. And I would definitely love to catch up when you are closer to release the game. Yeah. Sounds like a really fun thing. And I have your email and we'll be in touch.
Of course. It was really fun being on.
Thank you. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a really fun conversation. And that's what I like, not just talking about exclusively business and everything. So it was kind of a way to get to know you behind the screen and just to chat a bit. Yeah. So thank you once again. And we'll definitely chat again and chat soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Real stories with bold creatives.